by Dallas, make it hurt.
Hey, what's up, guys? Mike here with Practical Training Professionals. Today we're joined by Ryan Gass, the Mr. Practical Training Professionals. How you doing, buddy?
Great.
Awesome. As you guys know, first of all, welcome back to the channel. If you're into firearms training, different drills, field stripping of firearms, gears, gadgets, all that stuff, you came to the right place. Ask you real quick, drop down there, hit that subscribe button. But today, Ryan and I decided to put a special video out for those of you. Honestly, this is like a Q&A type episode or type video, right? Like this month, always, it seems January and February are some of the most busiest months for us as firearms instructors. I don't know what it is, but it just so happens that way. And in Maryland, as many of you know, after you take the training for your wear and carry permit or your Maryland HCP, you have to go and start the application process, right? And what Ryan always says in class is like, when you do that and the investigator calls you, he's going to give you all the rope you need to hang yourself with. Yep. Right. And what spurred this was we just got off the phone with one of our clients and she called and she said, hey, I submitted all my business paperwork, which is something you'll need, right? If you're applying, business owner is one of those categories. And we have a whole video, in fact, up here in the card right here. You guys will be able to click through to exactly how to apply as a business owner. But she submitted all of her business paperwork, and then the Maryland State Police investigator called her up and said, hey, we need more business paperwork. We need this. We need that. We need all this other stuff, and just kept giving her, asking for more stuff. And she, just not being as aware as she should have been, kept volunteering more information.
More information than needed.
Yeah, than needed. Exactly. So, for instance, something crazy happened and somehow she ended up talking about how she takes pills, right? And as soon as she's not mentally unwell, she's not being seen by a psychiatrist or anything like that, but something came up in conversation. She started feeling nervous. I don't know if she thought she had something to hide or what, but next thing you know, she's like, oh yeah, I take these pills to help me go to sleep sometimes or something like that. And immediately the investigator's like, okay, we're going to need X, Y, and Z from your doctor, your psychiatrist. You need a clean bill of health. And she's like, wait a minute. I'm not unwell, but it's too late, right? You open your mouth.
Pandora's box. This process, when you're applying for a concealed carry, especially for Maryland more so than any other state.
Right.
But less is more. Don't give them more than they ask for. And when they ask for certain stuff, too, you got to watch the way you talk sometimes because depending on who you deal with, not every person – let me take a step back. People don't join the Maryland State Police because they want to be in the licensing division. If you were to go to their academy and you interview all their different cadets or whatnot, you wouldn't find someone that says, and you ask them, why are you here? Why are you in the academy? Like, what made you want to become a Maryland State Police trooper or and whatnot? None of them are going to say, well, I've always had the dream that one day I will be deciding who gets their rights and who doesn't. Right. I want to be in licensed division. Nobody ever says that. A lot of people, not everybody, but from what I've seen, a lot of those that work in Maryland State Police licensed division are there temporarily. For various reasons. I'm not going to get into what those reasons may be. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. But they're only there for maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. If you find somebody that works in State Police License Division that's been there more than a year, that's very unique. With that being said, there are a lot of people that work in the Maryland State Police License Division, especially those that handle these type of applications, that have no idea what they're doing. I don't know if or what any training they get before they go work at License Division. Because, again, they're only there for a couple weeks, couple months. If they're only going to be there for maybe an undetermined amount of time, but let's just say give or take 2 or 3 months, why are you going to send them off and do...
Right.
Why are you going to go off and send them to do 2 months of training before they go do a job they're only going to be in for like a month or two? So a lot of times they're winging it.
And I will add, if you're watching this or if you know somebody who is in the Maryland State Police Licensing Division or anybody that had been there in the past, please just send me an email, mike@PTPGun.com, and let me know. You can remain anonymous, but I have a lot of questions, and it would be really helpful, I think, to myself and Ryan and the citizens of Maryland to have kind of a point of contact that could help answer some of these questions. But go ahead.
But they, long story short, I from what I gather, my many years doing this stuff, and from my interaction with them, it seems that they are like, hey, welcome to License Division. Here's your applications you get to start processing, and enjoy.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, it's like, okay, just let me know if and when you ever have any questions and stuff, and just figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, it sounds crazy, sounds dumb, but a lot of times these people that are handling these application packets or whatnot, or handling your online application now, they are just going based off what they heard, not that they know, based on what they heard or what they think. Like a problem we've had recently a couple times with a new person that's at the State Police License Division is, when you're applying as a business owner, you have to provide them with either, amongst other things, either 3 months of bank statements or 10 receipts and purchases made for that business and 6 deposit slips, right? Not both. All right, not 3 months of bank statements and these 6 receipts and these 6 deposit slips. No, 3 months of bank statements or 10 receipts and 6 deposit slips.
Right.
And we've had I think 1 or 2 different individuals at the state police that said, no, you need to have both. And one of our employees that was handling a particular application, they said, no, it's one or the other.
That's right.
And they passed it up to the supervisor, and they're like, oh, my bad. And then actually that applicant's packet actually went through fast track. They got it back. They got their handgun permit within 30 days.
That's unheard of.
Their application.
45 days is what we generally see as the average, and this individual got it in 30. That means they got somebody's attention. Mm-hmm. But it also shows that they can get these done in 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, why the hell are they waiting so long?
They could get them done a lot faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Overall. It's just really frustrating. But anyway, there's a lot of good people that work at Maryland State Police License Division. They're just in an unfortunate position and stuff. And there's some that are still good people in an unfortunate position, but they have no idea what they're doing.
That's right.
No idea. And they a lot of times pass off bad information as being, the truth. A lot of times when people, there's a lot of people out there that believe that anything that comes out of someone's mouth that works for a law enforcement agency, that has got to be 100% the truth. That's got to be as good as gold. And a lot of times that's not true. Not that these people are going to go out there and blatantly lie on purpose and stuff, but a lot of times it's just based on lack of knowledge.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Lack of training. So what we're trying to get at is there's a lot of things that are unnecessary. Things that you may volunteer, things that they may ask, but nonetheless unnecessary. You can still get from A to B without completing all those individual steps in between. What was some of the other things that you?
Yeah, so one of the things, and this is actually relevant, right? Yeah. So this woman is a Maryland resident, and she, among other businesses that she owns, the kind of, I guess, maybe the most profitable, I don't know. I mean, she didn't really disclose that to me, but the business that she listed on her application was a DC-based business. And but she submitted, her 3 months of bank statements. She submitted so in Maryland, right, for those of you that are just joining in and aren't super familiar with the process, in Maryland, you have to submit you have to meet 2 requirements for your business. The first is proof of existence, and the second is proof of activity. Proof of existence generally comes from your articles of organization, articles of incorporation, your 1099 subcontractor agreement, or if you have a sole proprietorship, sometimes you could use your tax statements that have your business name on it, okay? That's proof of existence. The second, as Ryan mentioned, is your proof of activity. That's the either or, right? So 3 months of bank statements or 6 deposit slips and 10 business receipts, right? So she gave the articles of incorporation as her proof of existence for her DC-based business, and then gave them 3 months of bank statements with hundreds of thousands of dollars of transactions. But the problem with it was the problem, according to the Maryland State Police, was that there was only $60 of cash deposits, which is when they're like, you're not dealing with enough cash, which is one of the questions we get all the time. Every time somebody calls me and says, hey, I want to get my Maryland concealed carry permit, but I don't deal with large sums of money.
I don't either.
No, neither do I. My business doesn't take any money in. All of the money that comes into my business is done through PayPal, right?
Yep. And I'm one of his, I'm one of his only clients. I pay him electronically via PayPal. He sends me an invoice every Monday, and sometime within the next 5 months after I receive it, then I fulfill.
Yeah, 5 months or something like that.
but no, that is one of the biggest misnomers, and that misnomer is being held sometimes by civilians. Sometimes that misnomer has been held to be truth by those that work at the Maryland State Police License Division because they just don't know. They haven't received any type of training and stuff. It's not really their fault. It's their leadership's fault. And
I don't know if they've received any kind of training. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you've got a buddy who's Maryland State Police and has worked tangentially to the Maryland State Police Licensing Division or Firearms Division, get a hold of me, please, because I want to know, like, are you guys no shit trained on this? Excuse my language. Because honestly, and oftentimes Ryan and I and other firearms instructors in the state of Maryland, we know more about the law than what it seems like than a lot of the state troopers that we run up against. I know countless times Ryan's been stopped walking around with his firearm on his, open carrying his firearm, and the cops will say something like, one of the things you always talk about in class is how the cop literally told you it would be a lot easier if you wore a badge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, like, for a lot of y'all that follow us and or follow or subscribe to our blog and whatnot on PTPGun.com, you will recognize that story. It was from back like last, I want to say July, August maybe. We were in Ocean City. Long story short, I got stopped because I was open carrying and stuff, and they weren't quite sure what was going on. And the cop multiple times, at least twice, said, hey, I need you to go ahead and cover that up. Something along those lines. I don't want to say a quote, but more or less, hey, I need you to go ahead and cover that up for me, my firearm. And I was like, nah, I appreciate it. I understand why you're asking that, but I'm going to decline your request. And long story short, he ended up asking me, he said, look, man, it would do me a big favor. It would make my life and your life a lot easier if you would just wear a badge right next to that gun.
What does that sound like? That sounds like impersonating a police officer.
And to a certain extent, I agree with him. What I agree with him, what I mean by that is, yeah, it would make his life easier, make my life easier, because people would misperceive me as being law enforcement. And if you think someone's law enforcement, they're carrying a gun, you're not going to question it probably.
Right.
But I'm not law enforcement. I don't claim to be. I never tried to misrepresent myself as being law enforcement. And him telling me I should wear a badge right next to it, that's literally giving me illegal advice. Somebody like, oh, I don't want to give you legal advice. But he didn't want to give me legal advice, but he gave me illegal advice. He literally told me to stop doing something that was legal and go to an option that was actually illegal.
Right.
So that's why I always half-jokingly tell people the worst people to get legal advice from are convicted felons and cops.
That's right. So what we're kind of wrapping up here, guys, is that to put a button on this little bit of the segment is that Maryland State Police, just because they wear a badge or just because they're on the other side of that phone call, they may not know absolutely what the requirements are, right? And they're going to start, if they start asking you over the phone, like, oh, well, what kind of cash deposits do you have? And you're automatically going to assume, because they're law enforcement, that you need to give them more documents that you really don't need to give them, right? According to the Maryland State Police Licensing Division policy, you only have to give them 3 months of bank statements or 10 receipts for purchases made and 6 deposit slips. Nothing in there says cash deposit. Nothing in there says what the value of your receipts have to be. Nothing in there says on your 3 months of bank statements what those ledgers need to say. That's all they're asking for is that. And if they come at you and they say, hey, I need more information this, you could play friendly with them, right? And try to appease them, but just know that you don't have to. Right now, you're taking your license in your own hands. You could always appeal their decision and say that you followed everything accordingly. But these guys are going to give you rope to hang yourself with, right? They're going to give you as much rope as you need.
Don't put it around your neck.
Yeah.
They will give you as much rope as you take. We can give you multiple examples. I'm going to start off with this one. So this is from like 3 years ago. Long story short, how it went was a guy applied for his license, went through the process. Part of it is an interview. A lot of times now they're doing the interview via phone. And they're more in that interview. They're more or less going to confirm any information you provided, as well as anything you didn't provide, but they found. Now they're just going through step by step. In that conversation, it came up, hey, do you drink alcohol? Do you do drugs? No. And then the kid paused and said, I was at a bonfire 7 months ago. This is what he's saying. So I was at a bonfire like 7 months ago, and they were passing around a vape, and I used the vape and stuff, but I'm not sure if there was THC in there or not. And the cop more or less said, "You're not sure?" And he was like, "No, but I don't want to. If there was, I don't want to be caught in a lie and stuff. So I just want to put that out there for you." And the guy was like, "All right, well, based on that information, you need to resubmit your application in 5 months. Sorry about your luck."
That's right. And the reason for that is it's not stamped in stone, but it's the general assumption the general advice that we've got from Maryland State Police is that you have to have at least 12 months between marijuana use and application for your permit. The reason for that is because, as many of you know, Maryland is medicinally legal in the state of Maryland. And Ryan did a great blog article on this, and there'll be links to the website and the blog right up here in the card, guys. You can click right through, where it talks about, can you have a concealed carry permit and a medical green card at the same time? The answer is no, you can't. But you have the general rule of thumb is to wait 12 months. So that's why he said, "Hey, I may have smoked 7 months ago," and the investigator said, "Well, you need to wait 5 more months before you apply."
But this is where it gets funny. So, inherently, he's going to get denied, get his denial in the mail, and move on with his life. Well, 2 weeks later, guess what he got in the mail?
What's that?
His handgun permit.
Oh, really?
Yep. So that's to kind of show you, and I'm not going to put out names and stuff, but, that goes to show you, and I'm not sure, did the cop make a mistake and accidentally approve his handgun permit and went through and stuff? Or did he do him a solid and say, I didn't hear that. Right. I don't know. But nonetheless, that goes to show you, they will give you rope. Don't put it around yourself and hang it. If you don't know that you maybe used a vape that had THC in it 7 months ago, guess what? That random investigator on the other side of the phone, they don't know either. And they're not going to find out. So less is more. This is not a criminal proceeding, but much like a self-defense incident, less is more.
That's right.
I would not, in this regard, I wouldn't say you need to talk to a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't say that, but less is more. If they say, because a part of the, thing they'll sometimes ask you is like, have you ever been in a fight? Have you ever been, had violent tendencies? If you sit there and bring up how you used to get in fights back in middle school and high school, they'll say, "Oh, yeah? Yeah, tell me more. Tell me more. How does that make you feel? Yeah? Did they medicate you after that? Oh, they did. Oh, ADD, blah, blah, blah." And it just, they do not open that Pandora's box. Do you have violent tendencies? Guess what? I got fights back in middle school and high school too and stuff. A little fucking blah, 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 blah here and there. But that's not me anymore. So if they ask me, do you have violent tendencies? I would say, no,
absolutely not.
Nope. I do not have those. I do not have it. Can I be violent if needed to? Yes, I can. But am I? No. I'm a pretty chill person.
Right.
So more in that regards, answer the question that they asked you, not what you think they asked you, not what you think that they want to hear. Answer the question, and in shortest possibility too. Again, do you have violent tendencies?
No.
Not no, but I used to. Not, no, but I could. Like, if they asked me that, I wouldn't say, no, but I could be violent if I needed to. I'm not going to tell them that. Is that true? Yes. Is it necessary? No.
Right.
Give them what they need, not what you want to tell them, not what they want to hear.
That's right. So, for instance, this woman, the same woman, and if you're watching, listen, we're not going to put your name out there. This is a teachable moment for a lot of people, all right?
And that's why we're putting this together, because, like, when Mikey was telling me about this, I was like, bro, we need to probably put a video together like this that we can kind of share with people going forward. Look, this is what you don't do. Not because, if you do it, you're a bad person, you're dumb,
That's
or
right.
anything like that. Just because, hey, learn from this other person's mistake. I tell people in class all the time, if I tell you not to do something, if I tell you that I would not do that, it's because I've already done it.
Yeah.
Learn from my mistakes.
That's right.
If I have to learn from my mistakes, great. If I can learn from other people, though, great. If
Even
I can
better.
teach other people based on other people's mistakes, that's even better,
Yep.
too.
So this particular person, so I do want to touch back on the DC-based business. And from everything that I've heard, and I was kind of slow on this, I had to ask a bunch of people, but the way that Maryland State Police wants you to be is they want you to be doing at least some sort of business in Maryland. So if you're a DC-based business, try to show that you do have some clients in Maryland, or that you're making, or that you're making purchases in Maryland, or that your business you do most of your business in DC, but the business is based in Maryland.
It doesn't have to be a lot. Like one of my first client I ever ran into that issue with, he was a lawyer based out of Virginia, and more or less, they said, hey, we don't see, I see you have a business and everything looks great, but do you do work in Maryland? And he's like, yes. And they're like, do you have anything to substantiate that? Well, and they're like, if you can get us something substantiating that, we are fine. We can move on.
That's right.
And what more or less he ended up doing was, later that same week, he consulted one of his lawyer friends on a Maryland case in Maryland. He sent him a purchase order or invoice or whatever. That client, which is also a fellow lawyer, paid that, and that was his substantiation that he does work in Maryland.
Right.
It doesn't say, oh, you have to do this much. You have to do minimum of this. It doesn't matter whether you do work in Maryland every day, every weekend, once a month, a couple times a year. It doesn't matter.
Right. So along with the Maryland State Police saying, hey, for this individual, hey, we're going to need some documentation showing that you do business in Maryland. Also, we're not advising you to lie or to withhold important information on that application. The reason for that is because they're going to find out. All right. For instance, this particular individual that we're talking about had a couple of peace orders from like 2007. So almost 15 years ago, right? Stuff that she's forgotten the details about, this or that. Because of all of so she didn't put that on her application. It was great. I think the application says, have you done anything in the past 7 years or 5 years or something like that? I need to double check. But since this was almost, 15 years ago, she just didn't put it on there. Right. And it wasn't a crime or anything like that. Not a felony, not a misdemeanor with the penalty that would also equal a felony penalty. Anyhow, long story short, that investigator called the other people on that restraining order before they called her. Right. So they already knew the whole story before they called this individual. And then they asked her, they said, is there anything else you want to tell us? What about any kind of protective orders or peace orders, ex partes? And she's like, well, now that you mention it, right? So had she lied right there, it could have got real sideways for her, right? So we're not advising anybody to hold back information. We're not advising anybody to lie. Let's put it that way.
To be clear, we're not advising anybody to lie. I tell people all the time to hold back information. And what I mean by that is, example is this. If you have multiple reasons that you could use.
Oh, that's a good one. This is a good example.
If you have multiple reasons that you can use to get your Maryland permit, let's just say, for example, let's say that I'm a career firefighter. Let's just say I'm a career firefighter and I've gotten threats and stuff from work. Let's say that I have a business on the side where I sell Arizona teas, and I also have a restraining order against my ex-wife, and I also have a top secret clearance or above. What I'm going to tell you to do, if that's you, what I always tell people to do is only tell them about the business, and I'll tell you why. If, again, let's say that person is Mikey and he's got all these different reasons, only bring up your content, developing business. Why? Because guess what? You're going to need to provide your business license, 3 months of bank statements, or 10 receipts from purchase made and 6 deposit slips, and then you're getting approved. If you bring up the business, the top secret clearance, the active restraining orders, the firefighter threats and stuff like that, they're going to want to see paperwork regarding all 4 of those reasons. Right. Even though if you only present them with the business owner reason, with a business owner, you're going to get a permit much easier, and it will be unrestricted.
That's right.
You'll be able to carry whether you're working or not. So if you can get it based on that one reason, and you can get it easy, and you can get it unrestricted, why would you open up Pandora's box with these other 3 reasons and make your life harder and the investigator's life harder?
That's right.
And you would also, what you could say is, well, Well, if they could just approve you very easily off of that, why would they ask all for this other unnecessary information in order to get you that permit and get it unrestricted?
Because that's what they do.
Because that's government for you.
That's what they do, man.
You've never dealt with the government before? If they're smarter or harder, guess what the government does? Harder. Hey, if it's cheaper or more expensive, guess what? More expensive.
You know,
this tea, if the U.S. government bought this tea, they'd be buying it for $5 or more. If I go to a corner store, I buy it for $1.
So Ryan was being very polite earlier when we were talking about the quality of the Maryland State Police, and we are not here to badmouth anybody.
No.
But if any of you guys were ever in the military, which I'm sure a lot of you were, Ryan and I were, there's always like these extra duties for people who, you know, like for instance, in the Marine Corps, they call it a FAP. Right. So like if you're working in a maintenance shop or something like that in a paint shop and you just suck and they don't want you around anymore, they're going to put you on a FAP over to a different shop. And you're somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Right. That happens in other areas. It happens in my civilian job. Right. They take people who may not, and this likely isn't the case with the Maryland State Police. All right. I'm going to be the nice guy, take the high ground here. Not with all of them.
With some of them.
But there are some people who get put on extra duty or shit duty, right? Like you guys have all seen the movies where the detective calls you in and says, all right, I'm going to need your badge. You're on desk work, right? Because they did something. What I'm seeing, they just don't have all the answers, guys. And they don't have your best interests at heart. You know, it's like, I don't know if everybody's heard about like the speeding ticket quota. You know, at the end of the month, they're going to pull everybody over. Like, I wonder if they've got a quota on who could issue the fewest amount of permits, right? Like, who the hell knows? But, you know, I got two stories here. So this same particular individual that owns a business based in DC, she owns multiple businesses, but she chose that one because it was the most organized, right? Also, not to put too much of her information out there, but her house got shot up, right? Like legit shot up. And there's a police report out there. They still haven't found the individuals that shot her house up. Right. So when the investigator was calling her, she ended up telling him about that too.
I told her not to.
Yeah. She's like, oh, and then this and that, my house has been shot up. And he's like, this prick investigator said that's an isolated incident. You're not going to be able to get a permit like that. And then like he was intentionally looking for ways, but he was going above and beyond his authority. He is not the person that makes the decision whether or not to issue you the permit. He's collecting the information and giving it to somebody that's going to issue the permit, right? Based on his recommendation, I think. But he was like, oh, if you don't show more cash coming in, they're not going to give you a permit. Or, oh, this is an isolated incident, they're not going to give you a permit. What I'm saying is it wouldn't surprise me if there were specific law enforcement or the investigators that have a power complex. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to flex on you a little bit.
That's any job, though.
Yeah, it is. It's any job. And so what I instructed her to do was ask to talk to a supervisor, right? This guy is digging. He's prying too hard. He's going above and beyond. Also, the phone call should only last 15 minutes, right? If it's longer than that, then either you didn't give them enough information or they're fishing for information.
Which related, but not directly related. When Mikey was going through his application process last year, I recorded, so he put me down as one of the references. When they called me to go over his reference and stuff and how good of a person he is and stuff, I videotaped almost all of that. And I put that on our YouTube. Is it on there now?
I don't think so, but it can be.
All right. Well, if it is not on there yet, it will be very soon.
Yeah, make sure you guys drop down there, hit that subscribe button. Hey, listen, if you've stuck it out this far, we're like 30-something minutes into it. We thank you guys. The reason this channel continues to grow is because of people like you who support us, support what we do and our message. One of the ways to help, if you're new to the channel, is just drop down there, hit that subscribe button, and then let us know where you're from. Drop down the comments and say, hey, I found you guys. I'm from Arizona or California or something like that.
Also,
engage.
I'm also all about supporting local businesses and shit. So if you are a business owner and you got a business in the Tri-County area or the Tri-State area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and stuff, post in the comments below. I want to hear who you are and what your business is. I'm always curious to meet other entrepreneurs.
That's right. So that individual there who had the house shot up, who owns multiple businesses, who's done everything right, still is going to have to ask to talk to supervisor. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just power flexing on her. Another case. All right. So for those of you that don't know what Ryan and I do, we do a lot of firearms instruction, but we also do application assistance. Why? I like to say, and you guys can give me your, haha down in the comments or whatever, but I like to say we're like Allstate, right? We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. That's the whole reason for this video. But sometimes people don't want to deal with the bureaucracy, all this other crap, or they don't have the time, or they get tripped up over online forms and processes and stuff like that. We help them. We hold their hand through the entire thing, and we assist them, and it's called application assistance, right? So we've seen this. Well, one individual recently, right, from up in Baltimore, the guy's a handyman, all right? He reached out to us to get firearms training and then application assistance because he was a victim of an assault. He got jumped. They beat the crap out of him, right? There was multiple police reports.
I think if I recall, actually, that was the second incident.
No, that's the first. Check this.
Okay.
This is crazy, right? Well, it may have been the second, but it's the first that we had heard about. It was the first whenever he decided to get his permit. Yeah. He got the crap beat out of him. He had police reports, right? And we helped him to file his application for his Maryland concealed carry permit, right? The investigator, when he called, said that he needed more police reports, right? That the ones that he had weren't good enough or something like that. So, this guy, he's an average guy. He doesn't know how to get a hold of the police reports. You know what I'm saying? So we helped him out. My wife did, right? Raylene, she's our member services coordinator. She helped him get his police reports and all that stuff. Check this out. And you know this story already, but you guys don't. In the process, in the time it took for him to get his police reports, he got jumped again, almost died, right? Where he could have defended himself. He could have, if he needed to, resorted to reduce that threat as much as possible. And he wasn't able to do that. He had to go to the hospital again, get his ass kicked again. All of this because they wanted more paperwork. Maryland State Police Licensing Division doesn't talk to other law enforcement officers, agencies. They can, but they're going to make you do the hard work, right? So check this out. Once that happened, he got his ass kicked again, new police reports. He called them and said, guys, you guys are taking way too long. I just got jumped again. Here's the police officer that took the handle. At that point, they were able to go over to the other division and pull their freaking police reports themselves. So it is possible. But they're not going to do that for you. They're going to make you do it, all right? Now, even after getting jumped again, they denied his permit. And I have no idea why. And they're not telling him why. But I started talking to him, and this goes back to what Ryan was saying about this or that, okay? This guy owns a small business. He's got proof of income. He's got proof of existence and proof of activity.
Which he didn't tell us initially.
No, he didn't tell us about it. He wanted to apply as somebody who had a restraining, as a victim, right? It's not assumed risk. It's there's a specific category, but
had I known that he had a business, I would have told him. And again, this is just based off my experience and stuff with the state police and what they like to see and what they don't like to see. Had I known he had a business, I would have told him, do not bring that up. Just like I told with the other person that we were talking about, where I went to that person's house that was shot up. I seen the bullet holes all down the front of that person's house. And even though I had seen it, even though I heard all the stories, the person even has a gunshot in the back of their back door of their vehicle, which I have a picture of. Maybe we'll put that in here, which doesn't show their tag and stuff. But anyway, even after seeing all that, I told her, I said, don't bring it up.
Don't bring it up.
Don't bring it up. Only bring up the business. Only bring up the business. And that's what that's not the only, but again, I want to be clear, that's not the only way you can get a permit, but if that is a reason that you have.
It's the easiest.
If you have that, use that and use that alone. Do not bring it up.
Yeah, why is that? All right, so this individual, the guy that got jumped twice, we're telling him, just pull your permit. Don't go through with that one. We'll start over. We'll help you get another license in there. Not pull your permit, pull your application. We'll start over. We'll just apply as a business owner, right? And chances are he's going to be approved. The reason for that is it's crazy. I mean, it's just business owners seem to get the permit a lot easier than people. The reason why we tell people to go the business owner route if they have a restraining order against somebody is this. When that restraining order dissolves or that person gets apprehended and is no longer a threat to you, what do you think happens to your permit? It's vamoose, right? If you have a top secret security clearance and you own a small business, what happens when your clearance gets downgraded because you're no longer supporting a top secret program? Vamoose, that permit's gone, right? The business is going to stay in business as long as you keep it in business. Your threats may go away. There's another one, assumed risk, right? So if you are a district attorney, a member of the court, public official, even a school board, if you're elected, you have a good chance of getting a permit, right? Because you're an elected official. But what happens when you're out of office? you don't need a permit anymore, do you? So business owner is honestly what we recommend for everybody if you can, because it's the only one that's kind of permanent.
And that's another thing too. A lot of times people are like, man, if I had a way to get a permit, I would do whatever it would take to get a permit. And what I tell people is, all right, so you really want your permit that bad? How bad do you want your permit? Okay. I tell people, I talk to them like, what hobbies do you have? What passions do you have? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you hunt. Okay, you ever videotaped it and stuff? Oh, yeah. Posted to social media all the time. Well, why don't you do content creation and stuff? That's literally what Mikey does.
That's what I do. I make these YouTube videos.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people like, I have a kind of a business on the side. I detail cars and stuff. I only do it for friends and family and stuff and whatnot. I'm like, okay, what's stopping you from still doing it? Even still doing it for friends and family. What's stopping you from getting a business license, getting a bank account, putting the money you get from that in there, taking the expenses you have out of there? What's stopping you from doing that? Oh, well, I don't want to have to pay taxes on the income, blah, 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 blah. If you do it right, you don't pay taxes at all on the income. If you do it right, your taxes go down. But that's a whole nother discussion. We'll talk about that another time.
Follow Ryan Gass for more.
Yeah. But, that is the easiest way to get a permit is to have a business. It doesn't matter how big or how small. It doesn't matter whether you are out of your house. It doesn't matter whether you are based on the internet. It doesn't matter if you're based out of Virginia and you come to Maryland and do your business just on the weekends. Hey, I am a perfect example of all the misnomers and stuff. People, call me all the time. It's like, I want to get my permit from Maryland, but I don't live in Maryland. You can only get it if you live in Maryland. Not true. The entire time I've ever had my Maryland permit, I've been a Virginia resident the entire time. And it's multiple reasons I've had too. One initially was because I was a security guard and a private detective. After that, everything since then has all been business. If you... what's another misnomer? No misnomer is that, you can get it if you have a business, but only if your business is based out of Maryland. Again, Virginia-based business the entire time, PTPGun.com. We do a ton of work in Maryland. I'm Maryland born and raised. I haven't done a class in Virginia in like 2 years, but I can still get my Maryland permit. Another misnomer. Well, I heard that you have to deal with $10,000 in cash, weekly. You don't have to deal with $10,000 in cash ever. I don't know what $10,000 in cash looks like. I barely ever deal with cash. 99% of the people that pay us for anything, they've done it on the internet, on our website. It goes through Square, it goes through PayPal. Days, weeks, months, even some clients I've seen them pay years in advance, and that's usually because they have to reschedule and they wait years to come back. But I hardly ever deal cash. It's a handful maybe at the day one. There's a handful of cash that comes in, but that's it. There's so many misnomers and stuff we have to go through and stuff. It's nuts. I don't know where this information comes from.
It came from somebody whose cousin's wife's brother was a Maryland State Trooper, and they told me so.
No, I've even heard.
That's what it is, man.
I've heard people like, hey, well, my daughter's a cop out in Kentucky, and she said to get a Maryland permit, you got to do this. What?
Right? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That's
man.
like. I don't. It's just so ignorant and stuff. Like I hear people all the time. Well, I met a guy in a bar and he said this. He got denied because of this. What I love, I had a guy. He's now a 2-time client of mine. I forget where it was. It was on some type. I posted about what we do on a group, and I said, "Hey, we got a class this weekend. Love to have you all out. Help you get your Maryland permit." And the guy commented, being all snarky and shit, was like, "You'll never get it. You'll never get it. I applied and I went through everything and I got denied. I know, I'm this, I'm that and stuff, and I should have got approved, yada, yada, yada." And I privately messaged the guy. I said, "Hey, if you mind me asking, what reason did you provide for why you needed your permit?" And the guy said, "Well, I'm a business owner. I do this, I do that." I'm like, all right. What information did you give them? What did you tell them? This. Well, that right there is why you went wrong. That's why you didn't get approved. And I literally helped the guy. This was like probably 3 years ago, I think. 3 years ago, I helped the guy, and I helped him for free. And I did that because Now, one, he's been a client of mine twice now. The first time for free, the second time he paid for renewal and stuff. But that, and he went from being a naysayer and making my job harder to now he is out there actively promoting our stuff.
Sure.
Hey, I got my Maryland permit. He's talking to people and stuff like, oh, you got denied. I got denied too, but I went through the PTP and stuff, and I got approved with him. That's what I love. That I'm not gonna put that guy's name out there and stuff, but the guy's a realtor. He also buys and sells and flips, like older muscle cars and stuff. It sounds like he goes through a couple dozen of those every year and stuff. I think it's that side of things is not. It is a business, but it's more or less like a fun way that he can have these cars, enjoy them, and flip them and make money off them. But he's also a full-time realtor and stuff. And but yeah,
which is, hey, if you're a realtor and you're watching this, give us a call. All right, super simple. 240-925-5788. Give me a call. All right,
the number's right there.
That's right.
There.
I'll put it right down there.
But when it comes to business owners, it's not just your stereotypical brick and mortar. I've got an LLC. It could be it doesn't matter if it's brick and mortar or if it's home based. It doesn't matter if it is an LLC, an S corp, C corp, and corp. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 1099. It doesn't matter if it's a 501c3 or 401c3. It's a 501. It doesn't matter if it's a nonprofit or not. It doesn't matter if it's profitable or not. Like example of a business and business owners that get proved all the time. We deal with churches and their pastors. Churches, for all intents and purposes for this process, they are a business. Whether you like it or not, whatever, it doesn't matter. It is a business. It is a nonprofit business, but it is a business. I'm not an expert on how churches are structured and stuff, but generally speaking, they say the pastor or whatnot, they are the president of that 501c3. They are the owner of that business. They can get their permit, and they can also help their parishioners get their permit if they are like a part of what we refer to as like the safety and security ministry. But the pastor himself, they can apply as the business owner, and it's the same process whether you are again a 501c3 or a LLC.
Yep.
But yeah,
there's been so many along this process of helping people apply for their permits and people calling us, and what Ryan and I like to say is like turn assets into liabilities, right? Mm-hmm. So all these people who are naysayers, we want them to come to us so that we can help provide clear information and then help them get their permit, right? That's what our job is to help people be more effective in defending themselves and their families.
The cheapest advertising that I have is word of mouth.
Absolutely.
Happy clients are the best, people to go out there and advertise because they've been there, they've done that, they've seen it. He's been there, done that. That one gentleman I was talking about, he's been there and done that with other people and failed. He's been there and done it now with me and been successful twice.
Right. But the whole kind of impetus of this video here is there are so many ways that you can do it wrong, right? That you could apply wrong, that you could open your mouth and give too much information, that Ryan and I, this is what all these videos are for, guys. So you have the information. There's blog articles over at PTPGun.com. Guys, head over there and check that out. That literally walk you through step by step exactly how to apply for most of the permits that we deal with. Mm-hmm. It's too easy. It's when you get in your own headspace, that's when you're going to make it difficult. When you think, everybody's always, there's just like this trepidation about law enforcement where, you get pulled over and you get nervous automatically. I don't know why it is. Most people have that. It's no different when they call you on the phone. People just get nervous and then they start either talking too much or digging themselves into a hole. Guys, everything is simple. It's as simple as you make it, mm-hmm. right? If they're looking for reasons to deny you, not to approve you. All right. So don't give them anything. Give them what they need, not what they want. Mm-hmm. All right. It's that simple, guys. While I'm at it, let me go ahead and tell you something. If you are interested in getting your Maryland concealed carry permit, guys, head up to PTPGun.com. Services are right there, or you can reach out to me directly, reach out in the comments or private message us, and we'll do what we can to help you. Specifically, I'm looking for a Waze or an Uber driver. If you're a Waze or an Uber driver.
You mean Uber or Lyft?
Uber or Lyft. Sorry. Uber or Lyft. That's right. Reach out to me directly. I even think maybe DoorDash. If you're one of those things where you have a 1099 with one of those agencies and you're using your car and burning up your fuel and stuff like that and commissioning your job, reach out to me. I've got a lot of questions for you and I would love to help you get a permit as well.
And what we want to do, I want to be clear on that, we want to help someone that's in that capacity. like I said, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, you're an independent contractor. You're not an employee of those companies. You're an independent contractor. Your relationship to those companies is the same as a realtor to like Century 21 or Remax. They're not employees. They are independent contractors. And guess what? They get their Maryland permit to carry all the time.
That's right.
You know why? Because they meet weird, crazy people that they have no idea who the hell they are in interesting, secluded places sometimes. And because of that, they can be violently attacked and robbed and killed and whatnot. Happens all the time. Maryland, real estate agents get their permit. What's stopping you from getting your permit? We want to help the first person that reaches out and stuff. We're going to help you through the entire process, and we're not going to charge you. Why? Because we haven't done it yet. We haven't helped the person.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
right.
And we want to be able to look, hey, here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny.
Johnny, 3 months ago, he was doing the same job as you, working for Uber, and he didn't have his permit. We got him the training. We did this. We did that. And we helped him through the entire process. And guess what? Today, Johnny has his permit. I want to be able to say that a few months from now.
That's right.
I can't say it right now. I cannot. But I want to. And I want to do that even if it costs me money. So we're going to take and we're going to make sure you get the training, you get the fingerprints, you get the photographs, you get the application assistance with Mikey. And we want to try to get you your permit. And then we are going to use that to be able to help others get their permit as well.
Yeah, it's a learnable moment for us.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
So, hey, if you are Waze, that's what I use. That's my navigation app. If you're Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, any of those things, reach out to me, Mike at PTPGun.com, and let me know. If you got a cousin or a buddy or your wife or somebody like that, have them reach out to me. All right, guys, this is something we really want to do.
Yeah, and this video is not just for people that are using our application assistance. We tried to over the years, I've been doing this for what was it? When's
2015?
Monday's February 1st. Monday will be 6 years I've been doing this now. But for the last 6 years, I've been trying to help, not only through the training and getting the fingerprints, but also like advising people through the process to help them get their permits. And we have blog articles. You can see that we've been putting on the website. I think we've been doing blogs now for about 2.5, 3 years, but we've been trying to make it easier and easier and easier, make it easier so you can actually apply for it. And we're going to continue to do that. But for those that choose to do so, we will also do your paperwork for you. Reach out to us, call Mikey. He'll put his phone number below. But we can get you signed up for that if you so choose. These processes are not ridiculously hard. They really are not. It's just a matter of knowing what to do and what not to do and how to go about doing it. And again, that's what the blogs try to do for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say, hey, I get it. I appreciate the blogs, all that stuff, but I don't have the time or the patience to do the paperwork. I want to make sure that it's done right. So, hey, can you guys do this for me? Can you help me out with this? And again, we can if you so choose that.
That's right.
So again, reach out to Mikey. His phone number is 240-925-5788. Or you can just email him directly at mike@ptpgun.com.
That's me. Guys, with that, as always, thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel. As well as anybody, we're putting out 3, sometimes 4 videos a week. It's all just to put better information out there about firearms, specifically in the Mid-Atlantic region. But if you caught one of our field stripping videos from Oregon or something like that, more power to you guys. Keep coming back, hit that subscribe button, turn on notification, guys. And
also, we got 2 possible new series that we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, teasers.
So we're working on that, the details with the sponsors and whatnot. Definitely subscribe because I'm really excited. We've been working on the one for about 2-3 months now.
Yeah.
And the other one we've been kind of doing a little bit, but we want to fine tune it and stuff. But that's gonna be big once we get that going and stuff. I'm real excited. That's hopefully going to start next couple of weeks. But hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell so you can be the first one to see the new series.
That's right. Hey, and before I hit you with the whole Learn, Defend, Prevail thing, if you are a small business and you want to sponsor this channel, get a hold of me, Mike at PTPGun.com. And with that, guys, as always, learn, defend, prevail. We're out.
Stay strapped, get clapped.
Bam.